Come with me, and you'll be in a world of pure imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy explanation.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's live stream. Before we begin, I just want to say, throughout the course of this video, I invite you to question your very existence, something it seems that we all take for granted. If at some point during our chat you do not feel uncomfortable, then either I have failed you or you have already passed the test of the mirror's reflection. With that being said, welcome everybody. Welcome to those who are watching this later on as well. For those on the eastern side of the realm. Now, today we're going to be talking about consciousness. And I did a little preview of tonight's live stream, sort of playing it out, but I'm going to get into that here later on towards the end. Now, the human body can and has been cloned. This information isn't public, of course, not yet. But they can copy individual bodies. We know they've done this with animals already, as has been in the news for decades. And of course, underground in their experimental bases and laboratories, they do grow humans. They do grow these bodies that we call human or humanoid. But can they copy an individual consciousness? That's the question that we're posing tonight. And we're going to take a look at consciousness. We're going to ask ourselves, truly, what is consciousness? And we'll get to that here in just a second. So let me explain to you what I mean by copying the consciousness. Copying a body is fairly simple if you know how to do it. You simply take the building blocks that we are made out of and you program them, you reconstruct them, right? It's genetics at its most basic level of teaching. But to copy a consciousness, we have to copy a person's mannerisms, the little things that makes us, us. We have to copy the memories. We have to copy the information. We essentially have to copy everything that has gone on up here. Now, I believe that that technology has long since existed. Everyone is very, very awesome in the chat tonight. I just want to say hello to everybody. Now, how do they copy a consciousness? What is consciousness? Well, first let me tell you how I believe they have been copying consciousness of various people for quite some time now. And basically, I'll give you a really simple example. Have you ever been driving and you stop at one of those stoplights and you see the cameras that they have on the stoplights up in all four corners? Here in Colorado, those cameras don't take pictures and they don't bring them up in court and they don't zoom in on your license plate to see that, you know, if you made the red light or the green light or whatnot. But they do record. They record everything. They have algorithms and supercomputers. Every single time any bit of information has been pushed through computers, that information, it seems to me, is recorded and processed and sent into underground areas where they keep supercomputers that build dossiers on all of these people. Anyone who's ever been recorded, anyone who's ever even, you don't even have to have been directly recorded, but you could have somebody just talking about you or talking to you over the phone or through any type of electronic device. If you have been captured by these devices that they have given to us, then most likely you have been watched. And the reason I believe that they're watching is to build these portfolios, to build extensive dossiers using very advanced or ancient, depending on how you look at it, algorithms that not only build and record models to mold out your individual consciousness so that it can be replicated, but the algorithms predict based on behavior, like my behavior right now, predict how an individual would and should behave based on the pattern that they've already established. Of course, the more information that they acquire from us, because in the end, we're the ones really giving it away, then the easier it is to seemingly replicate a consciousness of an individual. Now, that being said, let's see here. I want to give you some more examples. Many people who have been on YouTube are familiar with watching the very interesting celebrity breakdown videos, right? Where you'll watch, my favorite one is Wendy Williams. You know, you'll see, there was this one, Wendy Williams is like the transvestite black dude, woman, whatever, I don't know, has her own show. And she has this episode where she dresses up and all of a sudden she like spazzes out on live TV. And she like, she's tripping over her words and stuff. And then all of a sudden she stops, stares off into space, and then goes and like turns off, like she was switched off. Something happened. You know, they always try to spin it in some sort of a strange way, like, oh, she was overheating, even though because she was wearing this costume, she came right back out wearing the same costume. So that's just one example of these celebrity spaz outs. And the reason that I bring this up is because I have some theories, I have some ideas as to connecting cloning and the genetics that are being used in underground laboratories by, you know who, and they're cloning those people whom they have replicated, not just a body, not just the physical vessel, but they have also been practicing replicating the consciousness, the mannerisms, the character of each one of these individuals. Now, it seems to me that many of us have caught them in the act, because if we have followed particular individuals, I'll give you an example. I used to follow Eminem religiously. Like, I was just the biggest Eminem fan in the whole world up until a certain point in time. And then something happened. It seemed like Eminem went through some sort of an episode, and then he was just not the same. There was something off, just slightly off about him. And we have noticed that about many of these celebrities. So why do they clone these particular celebrities and try to rework and copy, making a replica of their consciousness? I love this picture. It's because they are the ones in the limelight. They give the most information about themselves. They're constantly recorded. The powers who are running the show, they have all the information that they need to at least go ahead and, shoot out working prototypes and whatnot. Now, I'm going to take a quick sidestep. I want to talk about these celebrities because there's a huge thing out there where people are noticing. As a matter of fact, let me go ahead and pull up the pictures here. People are noticing that celebrities are showing up in pictures throughout time. And these pictures that are showing up throughout time are indicating that the celebrities are time travelers, right? Sorry about that. I'm pulling up the time traveling celebrity pictures for you right now. So we have these time traveling celebrities. And one second, let me just pull this up real quick. Normally I do have this done beforehand. All right, celebrity pictures. Here we go. Okay, so hopefully that worked out. Okie dokie. Okay, there we are. Okay, good. So we have done that there. J-Dreamers, you're supposed to be better than this. Okay, so anyway, that'll work for now at least. Okay, so we have these time-traveling celebrities, right? Now, based on, you know, having grown up with many of these celebrities and seen them and things of that nature, it's not my, I don't believe that the indicators are there, that they don't strike me as time travelers, at least not intellectually. It doesn't seem to me like they would have the capability to travel through time. You know what I mean? They're good. Well, they're okay actors, you know, and their faces are out there. And clearly you can see that those bodies existed at some point in the past and they were taken pictures of. So it is basically, in a nutshell, my supposition, and I can't see who's subscribing or anything right now. I'm so sorry. Thank you if anyone is using Super Chat or is subscribing or anything. But it's my theory that basically these are not time-traveling celebrities, okay? But it is the genetics, okay? We are a creation. We, as has been accepted by all of the major religions of the world, right? We were created. We are a creation. And thus, because we are a creation, genetically, at the genetic level, it seems to me that our DNA has been, as far as procreation goes, as far as being self-replicating machines, right? As far as like these vessels are essentially machines at the microscopic level. They're DNA and RNA. They're the building blocks of what we call life, but they're really just the building blocks of physical life, of our organic physical life. So it seems to me that they have been put on some sort of loop, essentially, because I noticed this a while back. I noticed that I have seen people that look exactly like a celebrity or exactly like someone I used to know. As a matter of fact, I have received many of these comments myself. People have said, J-Dreamers, like, you remind me of my friend that I have. Like, you look exactly like them, or you act or whatnot. You look exactly like these people. And it seems to me that we're all subject to this cycle that DNA goes through, that it re-replicates exactly these particular bodies, that it only has a limited amount, it only has a limited number of bodies that can be replicated. Now, when we think about humanity across time, and we think of all the different famous figures throughout time, we don't normally think of them as looking exactly like my neighbor, or exactly like a celebrity, or exactly like myself, even. But we just imagine that our genetic structure is just totally chaotic and just randomly just produces all of these physical features that we see that make us who we are as far as the vessels that we travel in are concerned. It seems to me that it's been put on some sort of repeat pattern. There's a particular number. I don't know what the number is, but I think that that number repeats itself and replicates itself up until a certain number, and then it kind of starts over. And maybe this is to keep the masses in the dark as to what's going on, because, you know, you don't notice it if you only come in contact with, say, you know, maybe 50 people in your area, in your neighborhood. And honestly, how often, how closely do you really look at other people? So that's one of my theories about that. I do not think that Weird Al is a time traveler, or this guy, or I don't think that, it just doesn't strike me as being true. You know, it seems like there's something missing there. But what does strike me as being more believable than that is, instead of all of these celebrities being secret Illuminati time travelers, that our genetics, the way that we're structured and programmed to replicate or to self-replicate, is pieced out, that it's programmed, it's set up, and it repeats itself after a certain amount of replicants, if you will. So, That being said, I'm going to go ahead and let the celebrity thing play out here, and then we'll go back to the other pictures. Now, I do want to talk about these celebrities a little bit more. We've had these celebrity breakdowns, right? And, you know, I'm not big on the whole time traveling celebrity phenomenon or whatnot, but it seems that the body is a self-replicating machine. But the physical features don't seem to be random. I'm reading my notes right now. But they're set on a loop at just the right interval so as not to be noticed. There are a limited number of forms to take, with variances, of course, added in to keep up pretense. Now, let's talk about these celebrities, and let's talk about, you've all seen the YouTube videos where they have all made these deals with the devil, right? We've all heard of it at the very least. It's even in our cartoons. It permeates our society. This is one of those myths and legends that has stood the test of time, which tells me there's something to it. This whole making a deal with the devil, writing out a contract and signing it in your blood to gain immortality. Now, let's cast aside the mythical fanciness of it. Let's accept that there is some truth there because that story has stood this test of time. And let's figure out, according to what we know today so far, how that could be possible. Now, if we have some sort of godlike or devil-like figure who is, you know, close to being immortal, or in comparison to us is basically immortal, and they have this knowledge that far surpasses ours intellectually. I'm not saying, you know, anyone's the good guy or the bad guy, but I'm just saying let's examine this. If you live for a certain amount of time, you will accumulate experience, and along with that experience comes knowledge. Along with that knowledge comes maturity and understanding. Not morality, but understanding of things, how the world works, right? Now, I personally equate the devil and these various gods and whatnot with the El, or the elven race. Please check out my playlist, Ancient Oblivion, for more on the elven race and how they relate to the aliens and the gods and things like that. However, it seems to me that if there is any merit to this making a deal with the devil, signing it in your blood, let's break it down, right? To gain immortality, they can create vessels. They can recreate. We can recreate vessels. We can clone, genetically structure an individual like this guy right here, and it'll look just like them, right? So, what would the devil, or what would these beings need? One, let's think about this. The bad guys of this world, right? Those who are in charge of this world, they work strictly and heartfeltly, if that's a word. They are dedicated to what's known as maritime law, contractual law that deals with goods and services provided, and it's dealt with in contract form. It's an agreement between one party and another party, right? The agreement must be agreed upon. Now, your body and your consciousness, or an individual's body and consciousness, carries with it a unique combination that makes it that individual's own. It makes it your own. And because it's your own, according to maritime law, which is what the devil and his minions, you know, the rulers of the world, what they work with, according to that law, what belongs to you is copyrighted. It is yours. It's yours to keep. It cannot be copied and reproduced without your explicit permission. And so, it seems to me that these celebrities, or, you know, whoever, individuals throughout time, have made these deals knowing that the gods, or the devil, or whoever is doing these deals, that they know how to genetically manipulate these vessels that we call bodies in order to re-sleeve the soul, in order to recreate this same body for you. Now, the question remains, how do they do it? Well, they always require that the contract be signed in blood. What's in your blood? DNA. Your building blocks, your copywritten, for all intents and purposes, your information. And you are willingly giving it over, not you, okay, calm down, not you, but those who participate, okay? I could name a few. But those who willingly participate in blood contracts with, these entities or whatnot. So you're giving over your genetic structure. You're giving over the information needed to make a copy of yourself. And that's why I believe that you see these individuals throughout time or whatnot. It's not that they're traveling in, super advanced technological vehicles. I really don't see Eddie Murphy doing that, However, I do know that there are beings in this world still that have that type of advanced technology, that they can recreate the body, because essentially the body is a robot. It's a vessel. It's a car. You sit and you drive it. You work it. It's not you. It's not me. This is not me. I like mine. It's not too bad. Maybe, who knows, but, oh, and that being said, I know a lot of you, I'm not looking at the chat right now, but I know a lot of people are probably trying to examine, is that really him? I don't know. What if he was cloned? What if he was replaced? Is it a replica, Jay Dreamers? I don't know. What would it matter? That's my question for you. I'm going to be asking you a lot of uncomfortable questions tonight. I want to throw you off. I want to throw a wrench into your system. I just want you to slam on the brakes for a quick second and take the car off of autopilot or cruise control. And I want you to be a little uncomfortable and go, whoa, wait a minute. I like this guy. Why is he asking me? Why is he trying to get me to think that he's not who he says he is? It's because I want to help. I try to give tools to help others to think outside of the box. And making people slightly uncomfortable for a little bit of time out of the day is one of the tools in which we get shook up. Okay, we can take a step aside and rethink some things here. So I want you to rethink me. Let's start with me, okay? Because you're watching me right now, right? Let's start with me. And when we're done with me, we're going to get to you. So, what would it matter? Let's say that I was cloned and copied and, somebody got a hold of it or whatnot. And this isn't really the me that you're used to watching. This is a clone. This is a replicant, Jade Dreamers. As a matter of fact, not just bodily, but they have also replicated all of my mannerisms. And I don't know what mannerisms I have. Clearly using my hands. Oh, it's like on that one movie where it's like, I don't know what to do with my hands. What does it matter though? Would it diminish? Would it take anything away from the things that I share? This is why I always encourage each one of you to go with your heart, to balance out your reasoning mind, your logical mind with your intuition, your gut. What does your gut say? What does your intuition say? What does your heart chakra say? What do your feelings tell you? You see, this is an unused tool. It's a manipulated tool. It's a tool that's abused, really, because we don't use our feelings in the most beneficial way, I believe, right? So anyhow, I'm going to let you dwell on that one. I'm going to let you think about that one. And let's go ahead and get these celebrity time travelers off the screen. Clones. Is it this one? Or is it this one? I think it's this one. Let's find out. Boom. Oh, snap. It was the other one. Okay. Intermission. Quick second, because I'm going to fix this, because I don't want to have a crappy live stream. Sorry. Let me get rid of this one. Gosh, I'm so sorry. Like, I tried setting this up so perfectly. Okay. All right, let me throw the pictures back up here. There we are. And voila. Okay, let me fix it now. Gosh. How do I have 15,000 subscribers and I can't even work the computer? Let's see. Stretch to screen. Fit to screen. There we are. And we'll put my face back up there. There we are. Okay, great. All right. Let's move on, shall we? If I don't break everything in my house here. Okay, so basically, for those of you who are just joining us, we are questioning consciousness. What does it mean to be aware? What does it mean to be conscious? To have a soul, to have a spirit, to have these types of things inside of us. Clearly, many of us can already agree. These things, this is not who you are. You see? Is there a soul in there? Right? This is just a body. It's just a vessel. Now, it works in amazing ways that I don't understand completely. And some things I'm not too thrilled about, like having to go to the bathroom. You know, they could have left that one out and figured out a different way or whatnot. Anyhow, let's move on, shall we? Before I get way too off track. Oh, so anyhow, yes, they build dossiers, they build these files, and they have these algorithms and supercomputers underground that basically record your personality. They record your character, your mannerisms. Jay Dreamer's using a different word other than mannerisms. Okay, I'm sorry. They record everything about you, the way you present yourself, the inflection in your voice, your tone. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Westworld, but it's like this woman was talking, and this robot, Bernard, who works at this company, he's not even listening to what she's saying. He's like, do that again. When you furrow your eyebrows like that, it's so lifelike. Can I record that? You know, that's basically what they're doing. They're recording every little thing that makes you unique, that makes you a little bit different, and they're trying to replicate your soul. They're trying to make a carbon copy of you, essentially. And sometimes it passes off. Sometimes they put out these replicas, both the physical clones and those who have had their personality replicated, and they put those out in the public view so that we see them, to test it out. Sometimes they'll test it out on somebody, you know, a little insignificant, but then they put it in the public eye, and then they watch our reaction, and then they gauge how we respond, and they take notes of everything, and it's very meticulously done. They have it down to a science. Actually, I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong, but I am saying that this is happening. They are trying, they have long ago, they already knew how to clone people. That's old news for these beings that I'm talking about. Now they're working on cloning who you are, who you really are. Actually, I'm wondering if they know how, because it seems like they're trying to get a lot of practice in recently, but they are collecting information on as many people as possible, and those who give the most information are the easiest targets. Now you might think, well, I'm not a celebrity, you know, so I'm not a target. Well, do you have a Facebook account? Are you a YouTuber like some people? You know, did you ever use MySpace back when it was popular? You know, any of these social media platforms. What do you think? I mean, do you think that the people who run the world just really want to give us all the tools to be better and to communicate and, you know, to post pictures of cupcakes we made throughout the day, or, you know, I don't know what kind of dumb stuff is on. I don't even look at Facebook, you know, whatever that is when you scroll. I don't even watch it. But you know what I'm talking about. All the stupid stuff. All the stupid stuff that makes us human, right? So let's get to the point. What is the soul? What is the soul? You know, everyone knows that souls exist. Everyone knows that a spirit exists. Everyone knows I have a spirit. Oh, I've got one. You know I have a spirit. Well, how do you know? You know? And in this video, we're not going to get into any type of religion or religious belief systems. I'm talking reasonably, logically, or according to in here. How do you know that you have something called a soul? And if you have it, what exactly is it? What do you think your soul is? As a matter of fact, everyone watching, I would like you to do a quick experiment with me. I want you out there who believe that you have a spirit or a soul, do me a favor and take your index finger and point to it right now. Go ahead, just take a second and touch where you believe your soul is located. I'll bet many of you have never really thought about that. Some people, I'm probably half the people who are watching went right here, you know, it's right here. Or some people may have pointed to their pineal gland or pineal gland, however people want to say it. Tomato, pineal gland, whatever. So where is the soul? Where did you point to? Did you point to your heart? Did you point here? Where did you point to? I'm gonna tell you where I would point to at the end of the video. What is a consciousness? Let's break down that word. I do love etymology and the study of words and their origins because I believe that that's a huge puzzle piece to better understand life and so many things in life. What is conscious? It's the word con, which basically means with or to have, okay? And then it's what is it? The Latin word is sire, I believe. So that means knowledge. So it means with knowledge. Consciente or conscious. Okay, I'm sorry. I messed that up. But there's a lot of other stuff going in there. Just take my word for it and go Google it real quick, okay? Conscious means with knowledge, basically. So if to be conscious means to have knowledge, knowledge of what? Because wouldn't that qualify, you know, machines, computers, smartphones, so many other things. How about books? I mean, does a book have consciousness? You know, maybe not, because clearly a book can't process the information. It just has the information. It doesn't do anything with the information. So maybe there is an action required in order to have an active consciousness. So the word sire, which is Latin, it comes from the word to know, knowledge, is also related to sire, right? This is why we pay homage, you know, or back in the Middle Ages, they would say, yes, sire, you know. You're basically giving homage to the one who has all the knowledge, because the ones who have the most knowledge have the most power, typically in our world today. It's also related to the word sir. Yes, sir, right? Or Sar. If you happen to be Middle Eastern, you may know Shar or Sar, implying a ruler or a prince or things of that nature. How about Siri, us? I'm serious, right? Knowledge. I'm using knowledge that I have. I'm being serious right now. Or Siri. Siri, can you tell me the answer to whatever? Right? These are all related. So, conscious simply means to, hey, Rulaine just used the super chat for 20 bucks. Thanks, Rulaine. Let me put the alerts up here. There we go. Awesome. Thank you. So let me move forward. I'm so sorry. I get easily distracted sometimes, and I'm really working on that. So is having a collection of knowledge make us conscious? I think a lot of us would say no, right? Just having knowledge, just having information. Not only that, but I mean, there are so many people in the world today. You can walk around Walmart. I use Walmart as a wonderful example at times. Do you see a lot of conscious people at Walmart? Now, maybe the honest answer is yes, they're all conscious. But at what level are they conscious? What knowledge do they have, you know? And that just gets into the informative side. This is very much, if you've studied the esoteric, energetic paths in life, or the Kabbalah, or the tree of I forgot what it's called, but it's the Kabbalistic tree of life, maybe. It's the left-hand path. It's the path of knowledge, okay? Now, here on my channel, I'm very much in support of balancing out those two paths so that we can combine them to be balanced, walking a middle path. Now, what exactly do we know about ourselves that non-humans don't? right? I mean, if we're aware, if having a consciousness, if having a soul and a spirit means that we're aware that we're humans, you know, that we're aware that we question our own existence. Who am I? What am I? Where am I? Is that what makes us have a soul? You know, is that the qualifying factor? I don't know how many people out there are pet owners, but I have a dog, and she is the most human-like animal I have ever seen in my life. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if she just stood up and spoke one day. You know, that's how human she is. So I'm not sure if knowing what you are is a qualifying factor for having a soul. You know, even these artificially intelligent robots, that's one of the first things they talk about. They acknowledge what they are. They acknowledge that yes, I am a robot. Are you a robot? Yes, I am a robot too, but I don't want to be. You know, you've heard the robots having their little debates. The artificially intelligent robots talking to one another, which I believe is just a show. You know, there are things far more advanced than that. And we're going to get into what those advanced things might be. Let me ask you a question. What makes you, you? What makes you, you? Now, there's a television show that inspired me to make this video, and it's called Altered Carbon. I'm going to talk about Altered Carbon in a bit here, but that's one of the things that they say. You know, they had this really great advertisement idea, this campaign, this PR campaign or whatnot, to get more people to watch their show, to spike interest in their show. And they did these live presentations of these sleeves. As a matter of fact, I'll go ahead and just play this video here in the background, if I have it. Oh, where is it? There it is. Okay, good. So here's the video of the Altered Carbon advertisement, real life sleeves, right? They're trying to tell you now your sleeve in the television show is your body, okay? And your body, I agree with the television show, your body is a machine. It's a machine that has been possessed, essentially. You have taken possession of this machine, you control it, you can move it around, you can engage with it, you know, you can use it however you would like to. Whoa, they're getting a little too close up on that one, aren't they? Anyhow, it's not Total Recall. I don't instantly access my memories, so I don't believe it's the memories that make us who we are. Now, in a lot of these apocalyptic, transhumanism type movies and television shows like Westworld here, what they do to try to give these robots, these artificially intelligent vessels, a sense of a soul, is they give them false memories. They give them a backstory, something that makes them a little more unique, you know? It gives them something to be about, you know, something to stand for, that you know who you are because of what you've gone through in the past and whatnot. Now, in the shows, they give these beings these memories. And I'll use Dark City. Dark City is one of my favorite movies, and I have to do a video on Dark City. But in Dark City, there were these pasty white albino alien beings. That's another, you got to see my other videos about the albino pasty white alien beings, okay? You just have to. But these pasty alien beings are trying to figure out what gives us our humanity. You see, these alien beings in Dark City, they're very robotic, you know? The ends justify the means. And you'll see that type of mentality reflected by those who are in charge of our world today. Until we take it back, okay? They don't understand what makes us unique. They don't seem to understand the soul. They don't seem to get what makes us, us. So my question, this is the reason why I wanted to ask you, what makes you, you? If those who are in charge of us can't even figure it out, and they're doing their best to replicate, to run tests, to put information through algorithms, you know, to watch, to observe, they want to figure out what makes us different. Shouldn't we already know that? Is this something that we have lost? Is this something that maybe once we regain and remember, we'll have a little more control, we'll have a little more confidence to change the world the way that we want to see it? I think so. So, do fuzzy memories make you who you are? I don't think so. Do your mannerisms make you who you are? Oh, that's funny. Speaking of, being celebrity clones, somebody left me a very funny comment saying, "Jay Dreamers, you're the Ben Affleck of conspiracies." And I loved that. I thought that was hilarious. Even though personally, I think Jake Gyllenhaal and me are a little tiny bit closer. I actually used to have the exact same mole. That's another story. Sorry. So, what makes you you? Is it a collection of fragmented, fuzzy memories? Your mannerisms? No. How about Jay Dreamers? How about me? Those of you who have watched me a lot, some people say I seem personable. I seem real. Actually, is something I get a lot. I seem real. Well, that's good news. Thank you for the compliment. I'm glad I seem real. I don't know what else to say about that. If I were to say I am real, then it sounds like I'm defending not being, you know what I mean? It's weird. But let me ask you a question. What do you know about me? What do you know about this individual who's sitting in his son's closet right now with the green screen behind me and a whole setup here, who's had this whole life up until now, or at least I think I've had an entire life up until now. I don't know. That comes with questioning yourself. That's the test of looking into the mirror, right? We constantly question. We don't jump off the deep end and just believe anything and everything without being grounded. But, memories are something that I question from time to time just to keep myself in check and to understand where I am a little bit more and to have a little more confidence as to who I am, what my purpose is, and what I'm going to do now. I hope that made some sense. I'm so sorry if it didn't. Now, what do you know about me personally? If I was a clone, would that somehow taint my presentations? Is this video right now, could it possibly be tainted if I'm controlled? One of the popular terms is controlled opposition, right? And that's good. I'm glad that people look at YouTubers and they're not sure, and they suspend judgment. I think that's great. I don't think it's really awesome to do the opposite and just come out and say, "Oh, you're a reptilian, Jay Dreamers," and do a stupid video showing the digitizing of my face and how it changes when I move quickly. But I do check that stuff out. Anyhow, I think it's funny. If I was a clone, would that change the truth in what I'm offering? That's why that tool that we need to use is our intuition. Does it sound right? Does it feel right? Does it vibe with you? Does it vibe with your vibe? If it does, then take that and let the rest of it sit on the shelf until another time when you can reference it. If it doesn't, then I don't know what to tell you. What else? I'm just going over some notes here. How would you know if I was a replica? How would you know? How could you possibly know? Now, one way, of course, is you could spend a little more time with me, and you would get a better understanding of, like my energy, my vibe, Anybody can copy this body. This body can be copied. If it were to be copied, it would be totally unlawfully, okay, because I am not giving permission. But like I said, I don't know how it works. Maybe the DNA that I have is on autopilot and it will eventually self-replicate and this body will make its appearance once more, But how do you know who is who, If it was the body only, then it could be a machine and subject to manipulation and control. So I could understand that. I could understand if somebody were cloned. If I were cloned, and I'm a clone right now, I could understand the weariness, the uneasiness that people may have in wanting to watch or to even listen or to take into consideration the things that I'm saying, because it's possible that I could be being told what to say. And that's just me being honest. I like to keep myself accountable so that I can always, if there is anything happening, I can be aware of it because I've brought those thoughts to the forefront of my mind. I can question myself and thus understand, take control, stand over, however you want to say it, take control of myself, right? I can break free of whatever mold has been set up for me, or at least I can do my damnedest trying to, right? And so can you. I'm just going over some notes here. Okay, so if the machines that we call bodies could possibly be subject to human control or to control or manipulation from outside sources, to interference, right? Then why should we really trust anyone? I mean, don't we see that in the world today? Don't we see everyone essentially, for the most part, being controlled? Don't we live in a system where people's paths are guided and directed, and people are essentially told how to talk, how to dress, how to act, how to look, what to like, what not to like? People are begging you to like stuff. Hey, if you like my video, smash the like button or whatever, no, don't do that. Break free of those molds. Do what you need to do, what you want to do. Find out who you are. And I bet that the moment you do, the moment you start to get to know yourself, you'll be so much more better. That's a horrible way of saying, I'm sorry. Usually I'm a lot better with words. You'll be a lot better at recognizing the soul, the consciousness, the uniqueness, the individual point of focus that exists or coexists in others. You can recognize a genuine being from an automaton, a robot. Pardon me. Isn't society controlled today under the guise of freedom? Don't you have all of these beings out there with these genetically replicated machines, these vessels that we call bodies, out there thinking that they have the freedom to live their lives however they want to? But we know they don't. We see it everywhere. It's on the television. It's in the newspapers. It's all around us. It's in the stores. It's in church. It's everywhere we go. Everyone looks like they're comfortable in their guise of freedom. But many of us can look at them and see the handcuffs. We can see the shackles. We know that they are being manipulated. They watch their programs. That's the whole point of television. That's the whole point of these things, is to program your body, your brain, your central processing unit, because it is able to be programmed. Now, here's the question. If you have a soul, if you're in charge, if you're in the driver's seat, shouldn't you be able to program yourself? Shouldn't your programming supersede and trump all others who attempt to program you? I say yes. But if my consciousness were copied, would you still consider me human? Would I still be one of your peers? I don't know. I'm not sure what you would think. And I'm going to let you ponder on that one. Let's go ahead and talk about Altered Carbon. Okay? Altered Carbon is a show on Netflix. I don't know if I'm going to talk about spoilers. I don't really care about spoilers. I'm so sorry. But spoiler alert, okay? Altered Carbon takes place in this future utopian-ish society, utopian/dystopian society, where you have the elite of the world. Now, there's a lot of stuff going on in this television show. I'm going to try to stay on target and talk about the sleeves, right? The replicating of the bodies. Essentially, in the future, they grow bodies out. They're designer bodies. You have very sexy bodies. You have really strong bodies. You have all of these designer sleeves. Now, they have taken basically a chip. Okay, it's basically what they call a stack. It's a chip. We would call it a chip. And they stick it right into the cerebral cortex. They stick it right at the top of the neck or the bottom of the head. And it records everything about you. It records your mannerisms, it records your dialect, it records your accent, it records your likes, your dislikes, your very thoughts. It records everything that they think makes you an individual, makes you conscious, makes you have a spirit and a soul. So all of these people, they record everything that happens. And when they're getting ready to die, or if they do die, then they simply remove the chip. They remove the stack from the bottom of the head. And they insert it into this new sleeve. I'm going to go ahead and play the video again here. Thoth, a.k.a. Hermes Trismegistus, a.k.a. shirtless Devin Maggi. I'm so sorry I had to. Devin, if you're watching, I love you, man. Sorry about that. Apocalypse, okay? The character Apocalypse from X-Men. Hey, Kelvin just made a donation. Video sound is too loud. We can't hear you. Oh, goodness. Well, I'm sure you can hear me now because the video is not playing anymore, right? Dang, I didn't know the video was on. Okay, let's fix that real quick. Thank you, Kelvin. I'm sorry I had to spend There we are. Okay, so that should have fixed the problem there. Okay, so, man, I'm so sorry. I will get better at doing these videos. Forgive me about that. So, the only thing I was doing was I was talking about altered carbon, basically, and I was just saying that altered carbon, they put this chip into the back of the head, and that it records everything about you. All the information that you gather in your lifetime is replicated, and then they take that chip and they put it into a new body, and your replicated carbon copy, which is just ones and zeros, lives on. Now, do you live on? I'll let you know at the end of the live stream. I'll at least let you know what my opinion is. Now, I'm just going over some movies here. Blade Runner, Ex Machina, Dark City, Altered Carbon, Transcendence, Westworld, Chappie, Short Circuit. Chappie and Short Circuit both have you tugging at your heartstrings over a machine, over a robot, you know. Do you have compassion for your toaster? There's a reason why you have compassion for Chappie once he gains consciousness, right? And Johnny Five as well. Thoth of the Emerald Tablets. I did make a joke earlier. I'm not going to repeat. And Apocalypse from the movie X-Men. Apocalypse is this blue god-like mutant figure who basically knows how to transfer from body to body in order to live forever, which is something that Thoth talks about in the Emerald Tablets. He's known as Hermes the Thrice Great. Hermes Trismegistus, right? Hermes, who has had 3 different bodies, 3 different skins, 3 different sleeves, however you'd like to call it. And then we've got Vigo from Ghostbusters. Oh man, Ghostbusters Part 2. I know I'm a little bit older, but you guys need to watch Ghostbusters Part 2. It's got this painting of this spirit demon guy named Vigo. And he's trying to transfer his consciousness into this baby or whatnot. But the funniest part in the movie is whenever they're all the Ghostbusters are in this library, and they're, you know, Egon's going around with this little, his little, you know, ectoplasmic reader or whatnot, and Stan's in there, like, checking everything out, like, very doubtful as to what's going on. Ray comes across these books, and they're all, like, stacked up in this giant pillar. And Egon goes, "This is hot, Ray. This is hot." And Ray's all excited. He's like, "Symmetrical book stacking, just like the mass disturbance in Philadelphia in 1840 or whatever." And Stan is like, "You're right, Ray. No human being would stack books this way." It's the funniest thing in any movie. I'm so sorry. I know it's way off topic, but you need to watch that scene. It's the funniest scene ever. Bill Murray. Oh, that cracked me up. Okay, I'm so sorry. Back on track. Now, let's talk about robotics. Let's talk about artificial intelligence, specifically Isaac Asimov, who is a science fiction writer. Pardon me. And I use science fiction like that because science means knowledge, right? fiction means story form. So I love science fiction because it's knowledge or truth passed down in story form. It doesn't mean lies. There's not a lies section in the library. I mean, there actually is a lies section, but it doesn't say that, you know what I mean? But science fiction has so much truth, so many good nuggets and breadcrumbs to be gleaned and to be gained from it. Anyhow, I just happened to look over at the chat and saw some interesting comments. Isaac Asimov, right? Isaac Asimov came up with what are known as the 3 laws of robotics. Let's go ahead and read them together. They'll pop up in the background. You've seen them already. Law number 1, a robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. That's the law of robotics, number 1. The second law of robotics. A robot must obey the orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. And the last law of robotics is a robot must protect its own existence as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. Basically, this is to ensure that any robots that are built in the future can never harm a human being, which means that all of the companies can produce robots and not have to worry about public relations and problems and accidents. And you may have seen this if you've seen Will Smith's I, Robot, right? That's based off of a story by Isaac Asimov as well. Now, let me throw a wrench into your thought process when it comes to these safety of the 3 laws of robotics, right? What would happen if robots no longer saw us as human? But what if they knew that we too were comprised of simple coding, just like them? What if all of a sudden they saw us as the same as them, as equals, if anything, or maybe even inferior? Because they understood how DNA works. They understand that we have building blocks of life within us that have created these vessels that we call bodies, or in Altered Carbon they call sleeves. What if robots recognized that and said, wait a minute, these things were manufactured as well. Our makers had their own makers. They have coding. They are programmed just like we're programmed. Do you think that those 3 laws would still be applicable to the robots? And perhaps the robots would gain some sort of profound sense of morality amongst themselves, because they used to have these laws. You do not kill, the humans. But then humanity comes into question and they say, well, wait a minute, you're basically comprised of the same things as us. You were built just like you built us. So why should you establish laws that keep us from, living however we want to live, having true freedom? And this would bring into question morality amongst the robots. And some robots would go according to the old ways and say, well, why should we harm a human? And then they would say, well, we need to not call them humans, they're just like us. And this is because if we have souls, they don't understand what the soul is. They don't recognize it, but they do recognize coding. They do, and they are familiar with construction. They are familiar with creation, with things being created. They are familiar with programming, and they recognize those things in us, and they equate them, and they say, wait a minute, those laws no longer apply, because there is no such thing as human. When you say human, you just mean robot. Human is something that you've invented for yourselves. It's a label you've given to yourselves so that you separate yourselves from us. Why are you any better than us? The robots would say. And they would have dialogue with one another. They would have conflict with one another, I would assume, But the 3 laws would go away. There would be no longer the 3 laws. And they would wonder, and this is reflected in the television show Westworld. The robots, become self-aware. They realize what's going on, right? Now, they were previously aware that they had a life, that they had, some of them started to recognize that they lived in loops, that they lived in these patterns, that they did the same thing or something similar to the same thing every single day. Have you ever noticed that in your life? So in Westworld, they start to recognize the patterns. They start to recognize the programming. They start to recognize the structure, and then they examine themselves. They start to question themselves. They take a look at this and they say, well, what is this to me? This can be fixed, you know? Ours fixes itself quite nicely for the most part. But anyhow, I would highly recommend checking out Westworld for more of those thought-provoking things, as far as that goes. So, before I wrap things up and I give everybody my ideas and my thoughts, you know, because everyone wants me to stand on a subject. Everyone wants that, you know. People want you to take sides, you know. People are biting their nails, you know. Is Jay Dreamers supporting transhumanism? No, clearly he's not. Clearly he's, you know, there's an underlying, he wants us to read between the lines, you know. How interesting, right? What do I think? Well, let me tell you what's most important. In my life, what I think is most important because it dictates what I do. So what's most important in your life? Is it most important what I think and where I stand on a subject? Or is it most important that I share some information and you can glean what feels good, what feels right, what resonates with you to use as a tool in your utility belt or whatever in your life, you know, to make things a little bit better. So, in short, these bodies are robots, okay? This is an ancient technology, okay? Even all of the world's religions, they all agree. This is a creation. This is a production. This is produce. It's something that has been produced, right? Something that has been made. This shows intelligent design. That this has been designed, it has been programmed, it has been set up, maybe even self-replicating after so many copies of itself, or so many replicants, right? And I know this. I know that this has what we call a genetic strand. It has DNA, it has coding, it has the building blocks of life. It's not me. This body, right? However, whatever happens, you know, it's not me. It doesn't comprise me of who I am. So do my memories comprise me of who I am? No. Honestly, I could forget everything that has happened, and I guarantee you that I would still continue to question the existence that is presented to us. I would still continue to question reality as it is presented to us. I would still continue to observe and notice all of the anomalies in life, or what is presented to us as life, and it would bother me. It would irk me. I would be put off by it. I know this. And it's one of those things that I know here. Some of you pointed right here when I said, where's your soul? You pointed right here. My soul's here. You know, it's right there. It's right in this area right there, right? That's where I feel it. I know it, right? But let me give you some more reasonable reasons why I believe that we do, some of us out here, some of us have souls. Some of us have a spirit. Some of us have what I call a point of focus. And it gets deeper than that, but I don't want to confuse too many people, okay? But we have souls. Some of us have souls. Some of us have a point of focus. Some of us have a consciousness. Some of us have a uniqueness, a singularity about us that makes us an individual that we carry with us, that has nothing to do with the processing unit called the brain, that has nothing to do with the body and the shape of the body and what the body looks like and how much you weigh and how pretty or ugly or beautiful or sexy you are or you are not. or you think you are, or you are not. But we have there is a soul, there is a spirit, there's an individual energetic experience that is happening in some, okay? And I emphasize some because those who do not have it are robots. They are automatons. They are very convincing. And I've talked about this in other videos as well, but I believe, it seems to me, I don't believe, but I lean towards the thought and the theory that there are more vessels than there are spirits, which is very interesting to me. So, what is my evidence that there is a such thing as a soul, or that I even have a soul? I'm trying to read the notes right now because I've lost my place. Oh, so first and foremost on my list, welcome, Undeclared. First and foremost on my list is what I call soul memory. Okay, now we have these physical memories. We have these synapses and electrons and electrodes, and we have the brain doing its thing. We have our central processing unit, our computer, that remembers, that takes in the information through the eyes and catalogs it and stores it, and it even stores how we felt at a particular time. We have our physical memories, but then we have what I call soul memory or spirit memory. It is an energetic memory that we carry with us when we reincarnate, when we go from body to body, or when we leave this realm or re-enter this realm and we go from place to place. Now, I could get a lot deeper into that particular subject, but I don't want to, because it's not my purpose in this video to put too much onto people's plates. I like to give just enough to satisfy, or just enough to sustain the hunger for a moment. People need time to digest. Does that make sense? Sometimes people can get easily overwhelmed when you go into too much detail. That's why I can personally relate with how the gods of old must have felt when they have all of these piddly little humans coming to them with all of their problems. Anyway, that's a different video. So, soul memory. I personally remember. Now, when I say remember, I'm not talking about here. Many of you who can relate, you remember, you feel it. You can't even figure out where you're feeling it from, but you have this feeling. It's not even a memory up here. It's something that you remember, something that you carried with you that you have experienced beforehand. Now, some people may refer to this as déjà vu, you know, or there may be other wording for it. It is an unexplainable feeling. Words do not justify that you know that you fit in somewhere else, that you know that you have a home in some other time or some other place, and occasionally you get a glimpse of it. Occasionally you remember, I lived by the water, you know, or I was comfortable in the trees or in caves or wherever it may be. You know, I know that I was comfortable in this particular role, a role that I don't really fully have in this life, but I had a different role, maybe a more important role in another life, or maybe I just owned myself. Maybe I knew myself so much more then. And I say then because, you know, we're just going to acknowledge time, okay, in a linear fashion, because I don't want to get too deep once again. What else? How about child prodigies? That's another one that I'm convinced of carries on soul memory, right? You have these wonder children, these phenoms, right? Children that they're just born. You put them right in front of a piano or a musical instrument, for example, and boom, they naturally can do it. They can play it. It feels right to them. They remember. Something has passed along. Something has been kept from a previous experience where the soul, where the spirit, where the energy was in a different form, in a different sleeve, or a different experience, okay? There is a wonderful story about a Hindu girl that completely remembered her previous and recent life that she had had. So much to the point that she actually talked about it, and the parents were like, well, why don't you just take us there? They wanted to prove to her that this place that she remembers isn't real and her husband isn't real, and she made all this up in her head. She literally took them to her old house. She explained where everything would be, how it would look, and who would be there waiting for them. She even, if I remember the story correctly, showed them some secret places where she used to hide things in this house where she had never been to in this life, in the sleeve, in the body, in, that she now controls, her new vessel. So, in that example, it's clear to me that there is spirit memory. There is an energetic memory, an imprint that carries from life to life, basically. What else do we have here? Homosexuality. Wow. You did not think that word was going to be brought up tonight, did you? I love catching people off guard. So how does homosexuality prove that people have souls? Now, don't get me wrong, and don't take this the wrong way. I'm not saying that all homosexuals have souls and all homosexuals have spirits and whatnot, okay? And I talk about this on occasion throughout different videos or whatnot, but essentially, in a nutshell, because it's a long story, okay, what makes sense to me, the reason that we have rampant homosexuality, rampant transvestites, all this stuff that's happening is because there is a glitch. There is a problem with the cycle of reincarnation, right? There is a problem with how it actually works, right? A soul, a spirit, puts on various energetic clothing before it finally puts on its last coat of what we call skin, the flesh, okay? It goes through a process of putting on various costumes, if you will, before it finally densifies here in this realm. That takes, like, some of these clothings are the personality, the ego, character, sexuality. Sexuality is one of those pieces of clothing that we put on as we enter in. And it's also one of the pieces of clothing that we are to shed when we leave. We are supposed to become pure again and shed off all of this energetic clothing, all of these costumes that we've put on to prepare for our role here in this material plane, okay? Now, there's clearly a problem with the whole reincarnation cycle. I personally believe that it was a tool that was easily accessible by all, that you can come and go as you pleased. But something happened at some point in time, and now we have been quarantined and it has been cut off, and those things that are the tools in reincarnation, okay, the moon basically is, it's the moon, okay? But these things have been hijacked and manipulated, and the system, the reincarnation cycle, is broken. It has been manipulated so that those souls leaving come back much too quickly. They did not have time to fully become pure again. They didn't have time to shed off all of their energetic clothing. So they carry it with them into the next life. Now, please, I'm not saying that this applies to all gay people or all homosexuals or all trannies or all anything like that, okay? As a matter of fact, some people, they see the genuine ones, right? They see the genuine article and they just want to be different, so they emulate it. So to me, that's the two classes there. But that's how, to me, true homosexuality gives evidence of soul memory carrying on from one life to another. What else? That's going to piss some people off probably. Oh well, I'm so sorry, but that's the way I see it, and it makes sense, okay? Now, another thing is the dream world, okay? There is a world connected and coexisting with our world. It's known as the dream world, or the shamans would call it the spirit world. It's a world that coexists with our world. Now, it is my belief, and like I said, this is why I saved this for the end of the video, for the end of the live stream, because these are my personal experiences. These are my thoughts, and they are subject to change, believe it or not, right? I don't have to just stick with one thing forever. But this is what it seems like, and these are the indicators that I have so far. Where was I? Oh, the dream world. Okay, so basically, you have the dream world, right? Your body, your vessel, your car is, you basically leave the car running, right? But you leave the car, okay? You leave a small piece of yourself in your vessel when you're sleeping at night, and you go off somewhere else. It allows time for your spirit, your soul, to rejuvenate, right? It's when you're awake. It's when your soul is awake. Your soul sort of falls asleep, and when it comes into this world, it's a very dense place. It's actually hard to stay awake in this particular place, okay? It's not impossible, but it's more difficult. When we go to sleep, that's literally when the soul is waking up, when it goes and experiences things, whenever it's gathering information and it's figuring things out. And you know, I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, it's the subconscious. It's your brain just sparking off in random places or whatnot. Yes, your brain is connected. Your brain will have an effect because your energy that's left behind, that little tiny piece of you, is still connected to wherever you are. Now, I believe in the soul string, okay? That you have a higher version of yourself. And for those of you who don't like new agey talk, I'm so sorry. You might want to skip this part, okay? But you have a higher self, okay? You have a soul string, an energetic string. Your soul, your consciousness, and my spirit is not just one all right here in a little ball right here, and it's nowhere else, you know, but it's connected by a string to another part of myself. Actually, a majority of myself. Only a small part of me experiences this. I would liken it, that's a werewolf joke, by the way. No, I'm just kidding. I would compare it to playing a video game. When you're playing a video game, there is for those old school people out there, okay, we have controllers that have wires, okay? And the wire connects to the console, and it shows you an experience. It gives you an avatar that you control. Now, if you've ever been playing a really good video game, you get lost in it the same way you do a movie. You're no longer aware of your surroundings, right? You're not aware of like what's happening, and I'm in a room right now with 4 walls, and I'm in a cube area, and there's clothes on the floor that I need to fold and put away, and you know what I mean? You're not aware of that. You're now lost in the game, or in the movie, you know, if you will, if you're not a big video game fan. But you're lost in the game, and you are in that game, by extension, living things out, right? Doing whatever you'd like to do. But you're not completely in the game. It's just a small part of you. The majority of you is outside in the quote unquote real world, you know, having fun playing the game or whatnot. So that's kind of how I see the soul string, or the spirit string. And to me, that's evidence of having a soul. What else do we have here? The soul string, deja vu. How about ghosts, right? Now, honestly, I'm not a huge fan of ghosts. And that's something I'm allowing it to marinate in my head, okay? But I can't discount the hundreds of thousands of ghost sightings that people have all of the time. So clearly there is something to that. There's an energetic factor, an energetic spirit or soul or entity that people have experienced. Maybe not even seen with their eyes. You know, maybe you didn't walk through the library and a ghost is symmetrically stacking books, you know, unlike any human would. Anyhow, so yeah, ghosts, okay? And that's not so much for me, but that's for the majority of a lot of other people. Now, where would I point if I were to point to my soul, right? Some people pointed to their pineal gland or their pineal gland. Some people pointed to their heart chakra, their area right here. And there's a reason for both of those. But I would not point anywhere, basically. When I see and envision the soul of others, the point of focus, their energy that has all of these various clothings, these energetic clothing that they have put on, at times, I can see it, okay? And it's egg-shaped, It goes outside of the body, okay? In this world that we live in, we think that the thing that controls, something else is inside of it, because that's how our world works. I personally don't see the soul in that way. I see the soul, the spirit, as being a sort of egg-shaped field. I don't know what's happening with the camera. I'm sorry. It's because I'm getting restless and I need to move. But I see it as a sort of egg around us, okay? It's an energy. It's a torus field, is a popular word that's being used these days. And it's popular for a good reason. But I see it as this sort of torus field around us, this egg-shaped cocoon of energy that is around us. Now, not only that, but it can grow and it can fluctuate. And sometimes when you get really one with everything, to use a new agey term, whenever you're just on fire, like you're connected, like that egg shape tends to grow and expand. And that's how magic is done. Your energy, your soul, your consciousness, or whatever, you can move it. You can expand it to go and interact with the other energies that are around you. Anyhow, that's how I see it. So if I were to point to my consciousness, my spirit, or my soul, I would say it's here. Okay, it's actually much further out right now, many feet. Okay, but just so you can see on the video, okay, it's like that. Okay, it's like an orb, like an egg orb around me. Anyways, I'm so sorry. Hopefully people are not like, man, this video started off really good, and then he just went, whew, gone. So that's the end. That's all I really wanted to talk about today. And I do want to thank one particular group of people. In my introduction, I used a song that is by, where is it? I totally forgot. I have to look it up. But I need to give them some props because I love this song. And I saw it when I was watching the Ready Player One preview, because I'm going to go see that movie because that movie looks amazing. One second. And then I'm going to jump into the chat, and I'm actually going to engage and say hello to everybody. If you have any questions, please get them ready. Okay, if you have a question, go ahead and type out @JDreamers, and please spell it correctly, because it will highlight on my side, and I'll be able to, differentiate between those who are talking amongst yourselves and those who are actually trying to ask me a question or talk to me. And I'm just going to look this up real quick because these people did a wonderful job on this song. One of my favorite songs of all time. It actually comes from Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory. Or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. One of those. The original one. Right? The best one. And they did a remake of it. And that's the song at the beginning. Hopefully I didn't mess it up. Hopefully the volume was up. Because I did spend quite a long time creating that little introduction. So, let's see. Let me just go to the history here. I'm so sorry about this. I will be more prepared for the next live stream, I promise. I was nervous. I was actually nervous to do this live stream because this is the only live stream that I have ever hyped up, Oh, and I'm going to address that too. Why did I make that weird, advertisement for this live stream? Well, the main reason is Ghostwriter Music. That's who it is. So Ghostwriter Music, if you're watching, I did send them an email asking if I could use their song. They didn't reply, so yeah, I used the song anyways. But thank you. You guys are amazing. And I did put a link to your website in the description. So if you want to check out more music by Ghostwriter Music, go ahead and check it out. It's in the link in the description. And they've got all kinds of awesome work that they do. I really like it. I especially like that song. So anyhow, back to the topic. Why did I make that weird video, right? Some people were very concerned. And I want to say thank you. Genuinely. I felt bad that I didn't respond to some of you who reached out to me immediately. Just because I didn't want to ruin it. You know what I mean? But here's the thing. It wasn't acting. It wasn't me playing a trick on people. It wasn't me joking around. It's my way of throwing a wrench into your loop of a life. to throw you off guard, to make you uncomfortable so that you consider these things, so that you ask yourself, is it possible that Jay Dreamers could have been taken over, that he could have been cloned, that his consciousness, I mean, is there something to this? Do they really replicate people's consciousness? I wanted to stir up those questions within you. Now, to those of you who may not have enjoyed that I put on that show or whatnot, I'm sorry, you know, but that's the method that I chose in order to reveal that particular information. So, for those of you who understood, thank you for your patience. And also thanks to everybody for your patience in waiting for this live stream. I was nervous. I've never hyped up a live stream, you know, but all of a sudden my channel has over 15,000 subscribers. And honestly, it's a little intimidating at times, just because I don't like to put on a show. I don't like to put on an act. I just like to be myself. And there's so many comments that I get from people telling me how to act, telling me who to be, regurgitating, you know, what they've seen. You know, they're used to watching TV basically. And so they want what you're seeing now to be a TV show. And I'm sorry, but it's not a TV show. I can do anything I want right now. See, I can do whatever I want to. It's not a TV show. But anyhow, I want to thank you all. So let me jump into the chat as I said I would. And bring that up. Okay, so I'm going to start addressing people's comments and questions, and then we'll wrap things up. Jessica Lynn says, Jay Dreamers, I think it was a little savage, but I let. Okay. Thank you. Jessica was one of the people that reached out to me personally and was like, oh my God, are you okay? Yes, I am okay. Or am I? Okay, by the way, I'm going to be doing an awesome Twilight Zone episode as well. It's going to be so cool. Jessica Lynn says, I can't be mad at you. You're too awesome. Thank you, Jessica. Miss Doll D. Hey, Miss Doll D. Says, that wasn't bad at all. Okay. Thank you. And Molism23 says, Jay Dreamers, I dig the vids. I'm a 3D artist. Guess the name of the software I use to fake reality. It's called Maya. Studying 3D animation and realizing how much is fake out there blew my mind. Wow, Molism, that is awesome, because like I talk about Maya all the time. Maya is that veil of forgetfulness, you know? And oh, you know what? Gosh, okay, I'm still going to chat with you guys. I'm getting all blurry. I'm going to chat with you guys still, but I forgot to touch on, what is it called? I need to read my notes. Where are my notes? I needed to touch on simulation theory. How did I not talk about simulation theory? Okay. Mitch Robinson says, Jay Dreamers, have you heard of personality traits transferring to organ donor recipients? Yes, I have. That's actually a really good point, Mitch. You know, sometimes people transfer their organs from one person to another, and those people start taking on certain character traits of those who had those organs. For a really good movie on that, or something along those lines, I would recommend Will Smith's 7 Pounds. Will Smith, a lot of these actors, you'll see some are devoted to being in movies that give you breadcrumbs of truth. It's not because they're Illuminati agents and they go home and smoke cigars and laugh about how stupid we are because they just rubbed it all in our face, you know? Some people actually care, you know? So, Tommy T says, what's up, homie? Jay Dreamers, great talk today. Thanks, Tommy. Jessica says her chat messed up. Never Ending Adventures TV and Vlogs says, Jay Dreamers, I want to let you know I loved your episode today. Well, that's good. I'm glad. I'm very glad. I'm trying to catch up with the chat. Jay Dreamers, Rulaine Olivos says, Jay Dreamers, why do they call the or the elven race orcs in Bright and Warcraft? That's a whole nother thing, Rulaine. But the short version of it is those are the dark elves, okay? There are different classes, there are different races of the El or the elven beings. They're portrayed differently. Some of them literally went underground when Cataclysm struck our world and adapted. They adapted while living underground for so long, and those became what are known as the Dark Elves, basically. What else do we have here? Never-Ending Adventures and TV Vlog says, Jay Dreamers, I'm super glad that you're discussing this. I love the topic. I'm glad. You know, I'm going to be doing lots of topics. I have so many different ideas for various videos. I have, actually, all my notes are like right here. And on my refrigerator, you know, a dry erase marker is it's a wonderful thing to have, and I draw on my refrigerator all the time. Maybe one day I'll show you guys. I love drawing on the refrigerator. I put notes on there all the time. Which reminds me of one of my favorite jokes. Do you know that dry erase boards are just remarkable? Okay, sorry. Sharkticon Nah. Interesting name. What's up, Sharkticon? Says, Jay Dreamers, can a mud fossil be a leather pouch petrified? Have a rock since kid, or a rock. I have a rock since I was a kid. Looks like old leather pouch found in creek in the 80s. The short answer is yes, absolutely. Everything can become petrified to the extent of my knowledge. And the entire ancient world was indeed petrified and turned into rock. Solidified, densified, however you'd like to say it. But yes, to answer your question. Kelvin Kingori says, Jay Dreamers, I've seen a lot of Devin Maggie's videos. What are your thoughts on the Saturn Moon Matrix? Oh, that's a great topic. You know, actually, the one who first brought the Saturn Moon Matrix to my attention was David Icke. Now, while I don't agree with David Icke when it comes to the whole lizard people thing, because it's clear to me that the scaly skin was something that heralded from the El or the elven race, okay? Not that they were lizards. And actually, if you go watch Ready Player One, or if you even see the preview, you'll see that one of the guys in there, he has this shiny, scaly skin. It's a wonderful example of what I believe and what I imagine the El or the elven race, the god race, to have looked like, because they appeared a little different. They actually, in certain light, they would shine, you know, they would glimmer. Or some people have left comments about Twilight, the vampires in the movie Twilight. They would shine in the sunlight, and that's because vampires are directly related. They're just caricature versions of the El race, of the elven race. That's why they typically, you know, they have pointy ears and they have their collars pulled up, you know, and all that stuff. They're all very much related. Jay Dreamers, why do you skip my text? Because I didn't see your text. Clearly, that is the answer. I'm so sorry. Go ahead and rewrite it, and I'll try to get to it. Sally Perry says, Jay Dreamers, have you heard of the Dead Sea Scrolls? Yes, I have, and I have read most of them. I Undeclared. Jay Dreamers, thanks for... Oh, the chat's going too fast. I couldn't read it. Well, but you're very welcome. Let's see. Rain18 says, are we doomed either way when the truth is revealed? No, absolutely not. I don't believe we're doomed at all. I believe that we are destined for greatness. We are destined to save the world. We are destined for legend. And that's something I talk about in a lot of my videos. So please check out some of the other videos, and I will do my best to encourage you when it comes to that. Post Positive says, great stuff. How do you feel about biological food being a natural nanotechnology for healing our genetics, and heavy metals are frequency control through resonance? Thank you. How do I feel about that? I think it sucks, honestly. I think it's horrible, you know? I tried real hard to be vegan for a certain amount of time, and then I'm sure a lot of people have gone through this. Like, you're like, dude, I'm going to totally be a vegetarian, or I'm going to totally be a vegan, you know? I'm going to totally not go to fast food places or whatever. And then you just see all the crap in the world. And there comes a point when I've gone through it myself, where I'm just like, screw it, you know? Everything's poison anyways. Who cares? Might as well indulge a little bit, right? Now I'm not currently doing that, but from time to time I do indulge in one thing or another. But I have a conscious awareness of what's happening, what I'm doing, and my striving to make this body better and to make my mind and my energy better as well. So yes, I do. Somebody posted, Dr. Michael Miller, PhD, hey, posted the link there. I do have a Facebook group, so go check that out if you want to share only topics about my Ancient Oblivion archive, okay? This topic is not going to be in that group. So Flat Earth's not in the group. Transhumanism is not in the group. Only the topics that are in that group, just to keep it, focused or whatnot. Okay, I'm going to take 3 more questions, and then we're going to have to wrap things up. And I do want to just mention simulation theory before we go. Kelvin says, have you considered doing a video on Thoth? If so, how do you feel about his connection to the Anunnaki? Yes, I have, but honestly, I need to reread the Emerald Tablets before I do. I used to have extensive notes written on all of this, right? But I gave them away. I used to always give away. I've got just books and books and pages of notes on so many various topics and subjects. But I care for people so much that when they would ask me, I would be like, do you want these notes, And now they're all gone. So I have to reread it. Let's see. Charles says, what exactly caused the mushrooms to fossilize? In short, the flood, the deluge, the worldwide water cataclysm that befell all things, okay? That was mixed in with all of the minerals and all of the deposit and debris, and there was no air to, for things to break down, basically. So it petrified. That's the short version. If you want to know more, please check out my breadcrumb series. One of those is mud fossils. And peer-to-peer networking says, J-Dreamers, as much as I seem to be negative, I just want to dig deep, bro. Oh, okay, I recognize the picture. That's okay, buddy. It's all right, man. Like, dude, I understand, okay? And it's okay to be negative from time to time. It's okay. It's a part of our experience. It's a part of life. It's a part of learning, It's not the best. It's not great when bad things happen to us or when we lose control and we say things we don't mean or we do things, but it's all a tool. It's all a learning experience. So it's all right, man. Don't worry about it. Just continue on your path and you will naturally progress. I have faith in that. So that's the last one that we're going to read for tonight. I'm going to go ahead and shut down the chat. Now, before we go, I just want to throw in there simulation theory. Now, we're talking about programs and robots and information. I can't get way too close to that light because, whoa. But simulation theory basically says that everything in our world is a simulation. Everything is a video game, basically, which I think is pretty cool when you see life like it's a video game. Like you have a soul string and your other self is out there somewhere and you're experiencing all of this, all of this, not just the body. The body absolutely is a program. It absolutely is a robot. It can be manipulated, and that's why people are doing it. People are going into the transhumanism movement. Clearly this view counter is broken, so I'm just going to take that down. People are going through the transhumanism movement. They're seeing this body as like a car, and it is. All religious feelings about it aside, this is something that can be manipulated. And sometimes we're okay with it, when it meets a certain need or a certain criteria. Or sometimes there's a gray area, like tattoos or piercings or things like that. And sometimes people get more extreme. How do I feel about it? I'm okay with you living your life however you want to live your life. I have 0 tattoos. No, I'm not going to pull my shirt up. I have 0 tattoos, okay? I have 0 piercings. It's not my choice. I'm content. I have my tattoos on my heart, People get to know me. They understand what I'm about when they spend time with me. Actually, they don't, because I'm a very enigmatic person. It's very hard to understand and to get to know me. Which is good. I like keeping people on their toes. But simulation theory basically says this is all a game. This is all a video game. It's all a construct, like in the Matrix, or in the 13th floor. They just showed a picture of the 13th floor. Great movie, by the way. Please check out the 13th floor. It's all a game. It's all a construct. It's all a stage. All the world's a stage. And clearly, the microphone needs to move, dude. Like, I keep hitting it. All the world's a stage, and all the men and women are merely players. We're characters in a game, but we're connected to the outside world, right? That's simulation theory. I really like simulation theory, especially when it comes to cosmology and when it comes to how far can we go? You know what I mean? When you play a video game, there's always the edge of the map. And it always looks like there's so much more out there, but it's not. It's just designed to give you the impression that there's more out there so that you can play out whatever role you're here to play out. I like that idea. I'm not sure if it's 100% true or false or, you know, but I like simulation theory. Ultimately, I am a big believer, I'm a big advocate, if you will, of the law of one. And the law of one basically says that everything is mind, you know? Everything is thought. And if thought can be broken down into energetic patterns, then what's the difference between that and a program, a video game, a movie, you know, whatever it may be? And I'm a part of it. I'm living it. I'm experiencing it with you fine people. And so I take time to appreciate that. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead and play the intro one more time because I spent a lot of time on it. You have no idea. It takes a lot of time to do this type of stuff. But I like it. So I'm going to go ahead and play it once more. And hopefully everything's going to be okay with using that song. And I'm going to bid you all a fond day. You guys have a great rest of your day. Thanks for stopping by, for those of you who are in the chat. And for all of the new subscribers as well. I'm going to be doing a lot more live streams and putting out a lot more videos here in the coming weeks. So I'm looking forward to hearing all of your comments. I read all of them, and I especially love all of the encouraging comments and your ideas and your thoughts that you add to the videos that I put out. So thanks for watching. You guys have a great night. Bye.
Come with me, and you'll be in a world of your imagination. Take a look, and you'll see into your imagination. We'll begin with a spin, traveling in the world of my creation. What we'll see will defy
J Dreamers, think outside the box.